So, hello everyone. Today I am going to discuss about the second order system. Already in my previous lecture I have completed about the first order system. Okay. So let's try to start our second order system. Before going to the derivation part, I am going to discuss about which type of system may be called as the second order system. So here I am going to write first which type of system which is called as a second order system is multi-capacity system. Multi-capacity system. First example of the second order system is multi-capacity system. So try to understand which types of system will be called as multi-capacity system. I will tell you later on. Just like try to understand if there are two systems, means there are two interacting tank. Just like that is two multi-capacity system. First, second thing is that just try to understand continuous state tank reactor with a jacketed cooling jacket around us, around the jacket, that is called as a multi-capacity system because they are storing energy and mass. Means there is two types of system. Just like if the system is storing energy or the system storing mass, that is called as the multi-capacity system. Okay. So if there are two or three systems connected in series, they will be multi-order system. They may be second order or multi-order system. First, second thing is that I have told you about the second continuous state tank reactor with jacketed cooling jacket. There is also two things that they are going to store energy and they are going to store mass. That's why they are called as a multi-capacity system. Third thing is that, my dear student, nearly if you will see mix or tank in series, just like if there are two tanks, they are connected in series, they may be the transfer function you can see about that two system will be called as the second order system. First, second thing is that if distillation column, if there are n number of trays, then that capacity or that system will be called as nth order system. Okay, so that depends upon the process. But if you will see in practical example, 90% of the chemical industry or 90% of our industry uses a second order system. Okay, most of the places. Or if you will be studying process dynamics and control more and more deeply, then definitely you will be studying about the stability criteria. Just like if you will see about the process reaction curve or Ziegler-Nicholas techniques, all these things, they are they have assumed that first order system plus time delay system. But I am not going there. Here I am just going to let you understand which type of system will be called as a multi-cap second order system. If there are two types of if more than if two first order system is connected in series, then that system will be called as second order system. Or if there are number of different just like if you can say capacity of system is more than one, then definitely it will be called as the multi-capacity system. My dear student, try to understand how we used to call. Second, I am writing here continuous stir tank reactor, CSTR, CSTR with cooling jacket. Third types of system, my dear student, in this category that is inherently second order system. Inherent second order system. If you will talk about inherent second order system, then you can define the system which involves acceleration and which applied Newton's second law of motion. Means for there must be an acceleration, and it will satisfy Newton's second law of motion. It will satisfy Newton's second law of motion. These types of system will be called as inherently second order system. Okay, just try to understand U2 manometer. The perfect example of this thing is U2 manometer. 1 marks question gate can be asked from this topic. U2 manometer is called as the second order system, inherently second order system. Why? Because if you will apply the momentum balance here, then definitely you have to use a second law of motion, and the system which uses second law of motion, that is called the inherently second order system. Second is mounted level indicator. Mounted level indicator is called as the second order system. Third, you can say pneumatic valve. Here, just try to understand one thing. There is a little bit confusion among the student. Pneumatic. Sometimes you will see pneumatic valve is first order system or zero order system, but it is inherently second order system. Try to understand one thing. For our process, if to become fast, we used to convert this pneumatic first order system from second order to first order, and from first order to zero order, to enhance our you or to fasten our response. Okay, but what you have to remember here, you have to remember our pneumatic valve is inherently second order system. That's very important here. Okay, so I have discussed about the example regarding second order system. I think it's clear to all of you now. I am going to discuss the derivation part of this particular second order system now. Now, how we can derive the transfer function for second order system? If you recall the first order system, then what I have told you, the transfer function of first order system can be derived from the first order differential equation. The same thing that we have to use here also. The transfer function of second order system can be derived from the second order differential equation. My dear student, try to understand, if there is a differential equation, of the type A, d2y upon dt2 plus b dy upon dt plus y t is equals to kp into, you can write it here, xt. This is second order differential equation. Okay, now if you will see, this is second order differential equation. If you have studied engineering mathematics, then definitely you will be able to know which types of differential equation will be called as second order system. Why? Because here the order is 2, d2y by d22. That's why we used to call it as second order system. So again, in process dynamics and control, the similar differential equation we will be using, but I am just transforming this differential equation according to our use in process dynamics and control in this way. Okay, so tau d2y upon dt2 plus 2 zeta tau dy by dt plus yt, that is equals to kp into xt, where xt is our forcing function, and what is the other name of forcing function? That is our input. This is also called as our input. I think it's clear to all of you now. Now just try to understand what I want to tell you here. If you will see, take Laplace. If you will take Laplace of this particular equation, then you can get tau. Sorry, here this will be tau square. Now here you can get s square ys minus s ys minus of y0 plus 2 zeta tau s ys minus y0 plus ys, that is equals to kp into xs. I think if you are very dexterous in Laplace transformation, then definitely you will be knowing these things. It's very simple thing, that's basic things. Now if you will take common ys from here, at y0 is 0 and y dash 0 will be 0. Y0 will be 0 because they at initially t is equals to 0, our input will be 0. Okay, so here you can take tau square s square plus 2 zeta tau s plus 1, that is equals to kp into xs. Now just divide these things in this direction. So from here you will be getting ys upon xs, that is our transfer function, and I am writing it in the form of gs, that is our transfer function, that is equals to kp upon tau square s square plus 2 zeta tau s plus 1. My dear student, if you will see, this is our desired transfer function of second order dynamics. Okay, that's very important. Here you can say that kp is called as our process gain. Already I have discussed in first order system. Tau is called as time constant, and another new term that has appeared here, you have seen first time, that is called zeta, and zeta is called as damping coefficient. Zeta is called as damping coefficient. I think up to this all the thing is very clear to all of you. Now what the next thing that we have to do here to proceed our further derivation here, that's more important because derivation is important here, that you should know. So what you have seen here, that our transfer function gs, that is equals to kp upon tau square s square plus 2 zeta tau s plus 1. This is our desired transfer function that we have calculated now. You have seen something new, that is zeta, that is our damping coefficient. That is our damping coefficient. My dear student, practically it has been seen that there are three type of value of zeta that you will see. Zeta is greater than 1, zeta is equals to 1, and zeta is less than 1. If zeta is greater than 1, then the system is called as overdamped system. If zeta is equals to 1, then the system is called as critically damped system, and if zeta is less than 1, then it is called as underdamped system. So these three things that you should keep in your mind, because it will play very important role when you will be dealing with the question for second order dynamics. Okay, it's very important, my dear student. I think it will be clear to all of you now. Now understand, if you will see, you can see there is a quadratic equation in the denominator. This is tau square s square plus 2 zeta tau s plus 1 is equals to 0. Now there must be two value of s that will satisfy this equation. I think there must be two value of s, then we can calculate the value of s is equals to s1 and s2. These two value will satisfy this particular equation. So here you can write s minus s1 into s minus s2 that is equals to 0. Only we are interested in calculating the roots of this denominator, because sometimes in the GATE examination they will give you about the question about this particular term. So how will we calculate these things? So you can calculate the discriminant of this quadratic equation, that is equals to minus b square minus 4ac. So from here you will be getting 4 zeta square tau square minus 4 tau square. So from here, my dear student, you will be getting the value of s, that is equals to minus of b minus tau of 2 zeta tau plus minus root over d. So that is the value of discriminant of this particular quadratic equation. So you can write here 4 zeta square tau square minus 4 tau square upon a is the tau square. So from here you will be getting two value of s, that is equals to minus zeta plus minus, so root over zeta square minus 1 upon tau. Zeta square minus 1 upon tau. My dear student, sometimes they used to give the question on this particular formula. If they will be giving the roots of the quadratic equation of denominator is xy, then you have to calculate the value of zeta, that is the damping coefficient. And now in my next slide I will be discussing about this particular formula. It's very important here. Now try to understand how which types of question is gonna be asked from you in the GATE examination. Let's try to understand. So from here you can get S1, that is equals to minus zeta plus root over zeta square minus 1 upon tau, and that is S2, that is equals to minus zeta minus root over zeta square minus 1 upon tau. Okay, if try to understand, if S1 plus S2 is equals to given something, and if S1 into S2 is given something, just like try to understand 2 and 3, this is given, S1 plus S2 is given, then definitely from this, using these two data, you can calculate the value of zeta from this particular formula, and you will be getting the damping coefficient of our second order system. So calculation of the damping coefficient is more important here. Okay, I think it's very clear to all of you now. Now I am coming to the graphical part. If you will see, for first order system, my dear student, you have seen the graph was like that. For a step input, the graph was like that. Now if you are going to apply a step input of magnitude 1 for the second order system, then what will happen here? Ys, that is equals to what? 1 upon s into kp upon tau square s square plus 2 zeta tau s plus 1. Now here you are going to apply your forcing function is a step input, a step. Here you are going to apply the step input, then you are interested in calculating the output response. So from here you will be getting output response, that is equals to kp into 1 minus 1 plus t upon tau into e की power minus t upon tau. So this will be your output response. This will be your output response for the second order system for your step input when your forcing function is a step. Okay, I think it's clear to all of you now. Now understand one thing. You have derived the formula for the first order for step input for the second order system, and the formula was like that. Just try to understand. I am writing here. Formula of the response yt of second order system, that is equals to kp for a step input of magnitude 1 minus 1 plus t upon tau, tau is time constant, and into e की power minus of t by tau. This is our output response of first or second order system with a step input. Now understand one thing, my dear student, what's happening there. If you will see, the response of yt used to be like that, yt versus t upon tau, this graph used to be like that. because in most of the process industry, if you will see, this graph used to be like that. Initially, the slope of the curve will be 0. Here in this region, you will see the slope is equals to 0. But if you will compare these things, the graph with first order system, then what you used to see there was just these types of curve you have seen in the, this is our first order system and this is our second order system. So if you will see, in first order system the slope is not equals to 0, so our response will be fast. So our first order system will be faster than as compared to our second order system, I think, because initially the slope of first order system is not equals to 0, but here the slope of second order system initially 0. So if you are going to subject a step input in first order system and second order system, so first order system will respond first as compared to the second order system. I think it's clear to all of you up to this point. Now try to understand, this curve is called as the sigmoidal curve. That you have to remember, that you have to keep in your mind, the curve for the second order system is called as the sigmoidal curve. As I have discussed earlier, in 90% of the chemical industry, the curve you will see or the process you will see, that is the second order system, and definitely the response curve, the output curve that you will see for the second order system, that will be called as a sigmoidal curve. So in industry, if you are going to see the control panel, then the graph you will see, that will be the sigmoidal curve. Okay, I think it's clear to all of you now. Now understand one thing I have discussed about, there is one small thing that has been left here. It's very important. Sometimes in the Ram Prasad book, or some books, you will see, if zeta is equals to 0, then the process is called undamped process. Only you have to understand this name, undamped. If zeta is equals to 0, that is called as the undamped process. But one thing that you have to remember, zeta will never be less than 0. Zeta can be 0, but zeta will never be less than 0. That is important. That you have to keep in your mind. Okay, in test you will be getting these types of questions frequently. Okay, so I think up to this you all are clear now. This concept is very clear to all of you. Now I have discussed you, my dear student, here multi-capacity system. Okay, so I am going to start multi-capacity system from here now today. Which types of system is called as a multi-capacity system? So before going to discuss, I am here going to discuss about, first is non-interacting system. Non-interacting system. Try to understand how it is going to. Only I am going to give you the basics of these things in this lecture. In the next lecture, I will be deriving the transfer function of this. Why it is called as non-interacting system? Why this is called as a multi-capacity system, and how the second tank is going to affect the first tank. All these things that I am going to discuss today here in this lecture. It's very important, and frequently GATE is going to be asked these types of questions each and every year, if you will see. Now understand one thing, this is first tank and this is our second tank. Okay, now here the flow rate, volumetric flow rate Q0 is going to be entered into the first tank. Here this is Q1 that is going to be out from first tank, and Q2 that is going to be out from the second tank. The liquid level hold up that is going to maintain in the first tank is H1, capital H1. Here that is capital H2, it is going to be maintained. Now area of cross section of first tank is A1 and area of cross section of second tank is A2. Now our objective is how the height of second tank, because already I have discussed in the first order system, if there is only one tank, how the input volumetric flow rate of fluid is going to affect the height of the tank in the first order system that I have discussed. But if there is second order system, means two tank that is connected in series, then there will be multi capacity system, and generally will derive the transfer function. You will see this will be the second order system here. Now try to understand here what is our objective. Our objective is how the height of the second tank that is going to be vary the input volumetric flow rate of the fluid which is going to be enter into the first tank. First objective is that. So here definitely you have to apply what? So you have to apply the balance here only. Okay, if you will apply the balance for the first order system, then definitely if you will get the value of H2. Here only I am writing the formula. If you want to know the derivation, then you can study from the Kapner, that is that is derived in the Kapner book. That's very good. I am not going to derive here because I have lagging of time here. That's why I am not going to derive here. So you will see H2S upon Q naught S means the height of second tank upon the volumetric input volumetric flow rate in the first tank, that is equals to, my dear student, R2 upon tau 1 S plus 1 into tau 2 S plus 1. Again I am writing here, that is equals to, I think you will be unable to watch this thing, R2 upon tau 1 S plus 1 into tau 2 S plus 1. Derivation is not important. GATE is not going to ask any derivation part. If any bark is not going to be asked, because we don't have to write any mains examination. Only you have to solve the single correct question. That's why I am not going to derivation part. Before going to derivation, without going to derivation part, I am going to discuss which types of question is going to be asked. So here, if you want to calculate tau 1 will be equals to A1 into R1. And if you want to calculate tau 2 is equals to, my dear student, A2 into R2. These things you have to remember. Here, if you will see, if there is H1 and it is the height in the second tank is H2, here Q is equals to, if you will see, Q is equals to, here there is a resistance for the first valve is R1 and the resistance for the second valve is R2. This will be given. So from here you can get Q is equals to H upon R. Q is equals to H upon R. Here that R is called as the resistance for the valve first. Okay. So I will tell you in the next lecture in the numerical, it will be very clear to all of you when you will be solving the numerical. So I will be deriving the formula for the interacting system, non-interacting system as well. Okay, in my next lecture. So thanks to all of you for this lecture. Okay, thank you.